We have Mr. Abhijeet Sinha, Chief Economist at the Ease of Doing Business. Abhijeet, thanks for being with us. What's your biggest takeaway from the budget this year, and what is your rating of the budget as well?
Hi, Namaskar. I hope I'm audible to you.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I was guessing that this is going to happen. And to a certain extent, we also predicted that this budget is not going to be a conventional budget. It is going to be a budget of emerging economies. In last 10 years, government has focused from 2014 to 2024, particularly after graduating from manufacturing economy, that is Make in India, towards startup economy. We also focused to a certain extent on MSME, ODOP, one district, one product, and much more around bringing production and also infrastructure to make it. But this budget, which is focusing on 2025 to 2030, it is in budget of new economies. And if I can compartmentalize these 5 new economies, which are emerging markets, then I can say it is also indicating to a certain extent a cultural economic boost. And last year, government has taken an indication. It also given an inclination towards around 2,000 crore rupees for all cultural avenues where infrastructure was needed. But all 5 economies which is focusing this budget is service export economy. So this time, if you listen MSME, then this MSME enhancement or capability is more focused towards service driven and also towards export driven. Third is tech for circular economy. Carbon capture, climate financing, blended climate financing, taxonomy, these all were in the budget wish list from last 3 to 4 years. Much could not happen into previous budget, but this year there has been significant amount of allocation to it. 2 more budgets are very visible, 2 more markets are very visible is ease of living. Minister has repeatedly spoken about how ease of living would be able to bring in the mainstream, and many of these conversations has also brought ease of living. It is not only in terms of mobility, but also in terms of taxes and businesses. Other than that, the last but not least is also catering to ease of mobility. So logistic over a period of time, infrastructure into 6 months, 6 years, and now it is concluding to bringing the cost of logistic down from one production unit to an export unit. So for a long period of time, we were looking at that how these would be able to work together. And I think this is much visible now. Both these economies, service, tech for circular economy, ease of living and ease of mobility are emerging markets. It would take some time for all experts and all market analysts to look at the budget because conventionally those who are businesses are not looking at budget from their own perspective. They're looking at it from their own expectations. But the budget which has came, it has came for emerging markets. And these emerging markets are not like non-existing. They are supposed to be a part of existing businesses. And this will only be possible if someone is going to take a try. So I don't think so. It is a budget which is not catering to the need of the nation. It is very much catering. It is not looking like startup centric, manufacturing centric, ODOP centric, service centric. It is looking AI centric. It is giving in assumption to somebody who's going to set up data center here. So my is it's a very progressive budget, and it is giving an indication to industries that which direction you need to move now, and the direction which industry is going to take. I'm sure the tech for circular economy or service economy. Previously, that announcement which government has done to 25,060 crore rupees for India, $1 trillion service economy, and it has came in November only for 2025 to 2026 till 2030-2031 period. So 20,000 crore rupees for India's 1 billion export dream is definitely going to bring different outlays in the budget. It is bringing all fragmented schemes of government of India under one roof so that a product-driven outcome. And to me, it is sounding very convincing because we have been talking about it, that ministries and schemes coming from ministries are not in a coordination mode. They have been fragmented. They have been working on MSMEs. They have been working on startups. They have been working on manufacturing, but separately. Now, when all of them they work together, it is more of a single window clearance for outcome, and it also has to be adopted. So tomorrow, when you look at the problems which have recently seen, and what we call it in our popular sense is twisted triple T, Trump's tariff trade. It is more of towards product. It was not towards the services. So for India, it is very important to shift from product-driven economy to service-driven economy. At the other side, in energy, for us, it is very important to shift from oil economy to green economy. And in this shift, if you like, it was expected that some ESG-led capital formally get some recognition of transition finance here, and budget was expected to give us some clarity on the tax. It is linking a blended climate financing instrument. It is also linking a carbon capture mandate, and it is bringing institutions to look into it, plan it accordingly, because by 2030 India would have a $2 trillion green economy in ambition.
Right.
And
Abhijeet, so give us your rating then. Overall you seem happy, but out of 10, how much are you going to give to this budget?
I would give 8.5, because there are some outlays we were expecting to be definitive in numbers. Those are not in numbers, but they are in transition. It looks like next year budget would have a better expectation meeting for emerging markets.
Abhijeet, I want to come to you on the emphasis on connectivity, because the government has announced, I think, 6 high-speed corridors.
Yes.
These are, I think, rail corridors. They're also announcing, development of waterways, inland waterways, and cargo movement on waterways. Now, we had heard the government talk about interlinking of the rivers. Nothing much has come through. How will cargo move on rivers? And what more can be done? She also spoke about seaplanes. Indigenously developed seaplanes will be given incentives. When it comes to this connectivity piece, how big are the announcements?
Government of India has been dedicatedly, focusedly working on reduction of our GDP logistic spend from a long period of time.
And it has delivered on that.
The first component to deliver was to develop infrastructure. When you develop infrastructure, you get to know that what sort of logistic spend, because our calculation mechanism was also to a certain extent very vague. It was calculating with same scale waterways, rail, road, aviation and trail, dedicated freight corridor. When correct measures were taken, we had clarity much more ahead that which one is going to serve us better. When you look at waterways and when you look at dedicated freight corridor, the previous investment which has gone into PM Gati Shakti dedicated freight corridor, and then new portal and corridor uploading points has been created, then it has given a very positive impact that waterways and dedicated freight corridor has served well. And when you look at the achievement, 8.79 November 2025, when we achieved our single digit logistic spend, it was from then a part of surprise that what is next in budget, because you said something you are building and you then achieved it single digit. Historically we are 16-14% GDP spend. This is next. You have to improve connectivity, because alone spending on infrastructure is to a certain extent now not serving the purpose. Your 4th largest economy and 30 minutes of rain in Delhi or Gurgaon, everything is stuck. So how do you look at connectivity? How do you separate freight? How do you separate passenger? There's a different all sort of ways India need to find. Otherwise, we all would be in a very stuck situation, because if an economy is not moving on road, and road is why overpopulated is because of trucks and many other ways which are also using. So now this budget looks like exploring new avenues, new opportunities to move freight on dedicated freight corridor, waterways, and developing new age of infrastructure, so that the infrastructure previously developed would have ease of mobility. We are also planning to move away from FASTag, which was boom barrier based FASTag, to a multi-lane free flow tolling, so that nobody need to stop or be into queue. So all this is bringing together the ease of mobility, and this ease of mobility required a good spend on digital infrastructure, not only limited to physical infrastructure. So I look at it very positive and very progressive. It will bring different indicators in next year.
Okay, and I hope the Ganga cruise also becomes more affordable for everyone, because we're all looking forward to it, but the costs are still exorbitant.
Once you have waterways coming for freight, definitely it will have infrastructure which can also be used for tourism.
Okay. And that will be a big plus.
And that brings, because last year I think 2,000 crore rupees for 25 destination was our finance minister allocated, and this brings us to a new economy, which is a cultural economy. UP has been a beneficiary to it, and some state, I can say UP and Gujarat, who has been done, UP alone has done 121 crore footfall.
Yeah, that's all thanks to Varanasi.
Not Varanasi, Ayodhya.
Yeah, the temple tourism.
Temple tourism.
That is really picking up.
Yeah,
New ideas are coming up and working well.
And this is now being developed as an economic corridor. So you can say cultural tourism or religious tourism is not a bookish word now. So these are new economies which are growing. If we will not look into it, if we will not improve it further, this year also, Finance Minister has given some more allocation to tourism. And these all are not the soft skill tourism. These are infrastructure on those locations. So I see in this budget, it's a budget of new economies. Circular economy, cultural economy, ease of living and ease of mobility.
All right. So future looking budget that has come in. Now, we're expecting a reaction to come in from the Prime Minister on the budget as well. Let's just listen to the Prime Minister speaking about today's budget.
विकसित भारत की हमारी ऊंची उड़ान का मजबूत आधार है। साथियों, आज भारत जिस रिफॉर्म एक्सप्रेस पर सवार है, इस बजट से उसे नई ऊर्जा, नई गति मिलेगी।
Let's cut across to the press conference of the Finance Minister and hear what she's saying.
You've heard the entire budget being presented in the Parliament. So as opening remarks, I'll just highlight some of the points which we want to draw your attention to. But subsequently, of course, we'll answer all your questions. All the secretaries are here with me. So this budget being the first one, as the Honorable Prime Minister said 2 days ago, this being the first one for the second quarter of this century, also leading towards Viksit Bharat 2047. We are laying the path and giving a push to the economy to maintain the growth momentum. And for that growth momentum or sustained economic growth, which we want to ensure, primarily we are looking at building the ecosystem with structural reforms which will go on. Reforms have been carried out. We are continuing to do the reform activities, so it will continue with an aim to make sure that we create enough environment for improving productivity and making sure employment is generated.
You've heard a lot, the speech, the analysis and the fine print by the Finance Minister in the press conference. Could you wrap it up, your feel about the budget, because some people are critical, but what do you feel about it?
This budget could not be made without keeping geopolitical consideration.
Finance Minister said that.
Yes,
we all are aware of what is
everybody,
happening.
even Mr. Amitabh Kant said that this is a very difficult time. If you look at to anchor geopolitical consideration at this stage of time, oil import is something which is terribly shaken because of conflicts and because of lot of. So this gives a result to circular economy or clean economy, whatever you call it. Second threat into geopolitical sector is twisted trade and tariffs. What TTT we spoke in the beginning in the morning. If you have to give a long-term solution to these two, I think this budget stands very good, very positive. Is because a 10,000 crore rupees for MSME to make them export ready, to make them ready to market and to grow and link that entire cycle how MSME has to grow and reach there to become more solution oriented. Even service is included into that. And at the other side, oil side, electric vehicle sector, renewable energy sector, we're looking, and almost in all expectation we heard that rare earth material requires some more allocation. This announcement of critical rare earth corridor with another announcement of 20,000 crore rupees for carbon capture, it is something which did not happen before. It means when before we were talking about a decarbonization of surface transport or decarbonization of household and industry, there used to be a coin toss between how that particular ministry outlay and their budget is going to work, and then how carbon credit will link with it. But in this 20,000 crore rupees, when we are talking about carbon capture, it is not talking specifically about any industry. So anybody who does it means it is meant for them. Yes. So it's a good decision that now we're talking into that sense. Second, I would add in this is tech budget. Everyone is saying now it's an emerging tech budget. So for emerging tech budget, there is a chain of reforms. So I may, or many of us would not be able to see what finance minister is planning to go through and what is coming up next. But if there is a chain of reforms, there is an accountability to perform also. And then if these two meet, we reach to an overall transformation. If this chain of reform is broken in last 6-7 years, we will not be able to make large reforms. And then there is no large overall industrial transformation. Tax holiday for 2030 to 2047 and till now is centers. First time visible. For data centers. So if you look at Viksit Bharat National Master Plan, this is first time visible into numbers. And anyone who is looking into it, spending, going to invest in India into tech, particularly into cloud, for them it is very important that it is a 25-year span. Many people may see it as an emerging tech budget, but I see it as 2022 to 2047 is 25 years, last 25 years of India. It has actually came late. By this time, if it would have came, we would have some large ticket announcement. So I'm coming to last point of my takeaway from this is everyone is saying no big ticket announcement. I see there are big ticket announcement. This tax exemption for the cloud is going to bring large companies, and this is aimed to next month we are going to have AI Summit in India. It will bring a lot of companies. I'm sure there must be some conversation already going through because in last year we saw a lot of traction towards Indian market into artificial intelligence. And second is tech for circular economy. This tech for circular economy is bringing two more technologies together. MSME is there to give some high speed rail corridor. There are duty exemption on lithium, nuclear, carbon, and also carbon capture storage. So BES, battery storage system, and duty exemption on lithium battery components was an industry demand. So if we are going to interpret it into why this is 40,000 crore rupees into electric and 7 speed rail corridor, then it is making cities connected to each other. In technology, Finance Minister specifically in her press conference spoke, said is legacy industry corridor, 3 to 11 corridors we have in India are needing a revival, and this revival is particularly the import of high-end machines. It is also bringing an upgradation of technologies which India needed. So you link both of them, that critical corridor are going to bring us critical earth material. When we'll have processing units here, then
thanks to
it will
lower duty on the capital goods to import that.
Yeah, at the same time there is a duty exemption into all components that you require to build a battery. So from a larger point of view, someone is trying to create India a battery hub at the same time, an AI investment destination, and at the same time you are also making oil import reduction. All four of them, they add to MSME sector. And MSME sector, if they look into what need to be developed, what need not to be developed, then this no large ticket announcement budget, to me it sounds like a fashion which Finance Minister has carried. I remember when no railway was announced, everyone said for railway it's a disastrous budget. But after 2 years gap when Vande Bharat came, now people say it's a worth waiting. So, and another example of pharma. In pharma, we have third largest manufacturer and we are 11th in value. So those who are expecting and having an expectation from this budget that we as a sector or microeconomy have not received anything, they must look into it that what we as a country want to be. Are we willing to become a product-driven and manufacturing-driven country for a long period of time, or we are going to enter into an advance 40,000 crore rupees for electronics? So if you are looking at Japan, it is giving you a time to plan those peripheral, injections and boost around it.
But the electronics will still count as, industry only. It will not count as knowledge economy or something like that.
No, not knowledge economy. Electronic industry is different industry from the hardcore manufacturing economy. It is small in size, it is more sophisticated. Making a mobile phone and making a tractor are two different things.
Okay. Industry giving us their assessment of the budget. While there are positives, there doesn't seem to be a lot of enthusiasm among the industry players. No big bang announcements coming through. But Abhijeet, what do you make of the timing of the way the budget is structured? Last year you had a big ticket announcement for greater tax relief. That was, I guess, required. This one seems very subdued, very long. Long dated, looking at growth in the longer term. That doesn't make either the middle class or the industry immediately, point about or very happy about what's happening. Was this anticipated? Is this the need of the hour? Because you have to look at the long term also somewhere.
As I told you, the geopolitical impact, oil, twisted trade, and tariff, and defense. In defense, we are up by 22%. Oil, there are announcements around it for critical mineral, EV and components. In district trade, there are MSME championship. If you add 10,000 crore rupees, which is mapped to MSME, and you add another 20,000 crore rupees, which is for export promotion, announced by cabinet in November, both of them, they bring around 30,000 rupees. But what you are asking is whether this budget is at this stage of time making some sense to middle class or for people. Definitely at this stage of time when fiscal consolidation is inevitable, you have to do it. There is no other. There was a recession expected in 2026, 2027. Almost India has skipped it. And what hit tariff could have given us, that also we have managed to subsidies. Long-term solution may require some groundwork. By 2026, if you are not taking decisions which can give you large ticket benefit, large ticket boosters to your economy, by 2029, 28, when you have to give something back in the hand of middle class.
That is when you face the electorate again.
Yeah. So, and each time it has happened. Last time, I think we have seen that government missed that opportunity to give the largest gift to middle class, not in 2024, but in 2025, post-election. This announcement came that one household which is earning 12 lakh rupees, husband and 12 lakh rupees wife, altogether 25 lakh rupees earning household does not have to pay any income tax. This was expected from last many years, but it came after 6 years of background work. So right now, if you look at that, in this era of geopolitical uncertainties, some background work is happening to change the nature of economy we have in India. Our economy is going towards emerging tech, circular economy, cultural economy, infrastructure linked with tourism, service export is linked with MSME. Chain is being created so that MSME accessibility to schemes, credit, listing in the international market may increase. It is all groundwork which is going to create a large amount of demand. But to make it possible that we are not back in advanced technologies, it is much important to attract large players. And that is what this Viksit Bharat National Master Plan 2047 is now visible into numbers. That someone who is planning India for an AI destination or a cloud destination, so they will be giving some meritorious consideration because there is a tax exemption till 2047. And I'm sure that earlier it used to be a culture that government is going to announce a lot of things in budget. This budget is saying government is not going to announce. Government is only going to give direction. Announcement is going to come from the industry, and not even a month. Within this month in 2026 February, AI Summit of India is going to give large ticket announcement. Trust me, this heads up for 2047 is going to give you very, very large companies a destination announcement in India for a cloud, GPU and data centers. And at the same time in energy, India Energy Week has consolidated European countries to look into India as a solution provided. So last COP, India rejected that package which came to us as 300 billion, that will not take that package. Since then, India has started making its own green economy. So mothers of all deal, right from Davos to Delhi, from Delhi to Goa, India Energy Week, where majority of European companies were participating, this has given a very strong and articulated concrete statement that India is going to pose as a transition pathway for many economies. And those economies who are looking for China is not a very trustworthy market to work with. And India gives a very good ecosystem export opportunity where you can go down and do much of infrastructure development in countries outside India. So make it a railroad, or India Middle East corridor, or India Bodoland, the B3 corridor. India at this stage of time is also building an ecosystem development possibility where you can go out and create electric highways. You can go out and create low emission zones. But to do also, you have to prove it here. So for middle class, I'll only say two things, and then we'll be able to give you some heads up. One is 5,000 crore rupees for city ground infrastructure. Cities were crumbling into infrastructure of mobility. These 5,000 crore rupees is specific to intra-city movement within the city. Second, 7 high-speed rail corridor. It is specifically to middle class. Middle class does not travel. Each one of us are not traveling into flights. We need railways, good railways. This also gives a pathway for a lot of Vande Bharat. So 7 high-speed corridor and 5,000 crore rupees for intra-city mobility is definitely going to give us ease of mobility, ease of moving.
Right. So that is definitely some, the math working around how the middle class may not directly be benefited, but indirectly there may be some cause of happiness at least coming in.